Do you feel like you're constantly hitting the wrong buttons at the wrong distance and time? Do you want to dominate screen space and learn how to make your opponents think twice about walking into your space? This quick guide will go over the basics of spacing, awareness, and how to capitalize on both you and your opponent's buttons. We'll go over the logic and thought process behind spacing and show basic examples that you can apply to your characters and gameplay. But first, what is spacing? Spacing commonly refers to the control of distance between you and your opponent. Whoever has control of that screen has control of the game. But why is that important? Like your health bar, overdrive meter, and super meter, the space you control is a resource. Spacing is a game of give and take. Being actively aware of your space can give you insight on what combos to perform, how much meter to spend, and what are your options in a tough spot. Alright, this video is going to be a bit different than the others. I wrote a whole script and was working on this video, but after listening to it, I kinda sounded like a condescending prick. So we're gonna change how the formula of this works a little bit and go a little more real time for this video. I'll provide explanations about how spacing works and what to look out for. So what is spacing? Spacing can be made up of 3 parts: your range, the neutral space, and your opponent's range. Each part of the screen is a resource, kinda like StarCraft. Minerals and space are the same thing. Run out of space, and you're in a bad spot. Spacing is a feeling, not a science. A general rule of thumb is to maintain equal distance between you and your opponent. If they walk forward, you should be walking back. If you walk forward, they should be walking back. The reason for this is because both players get to agree how far away they want to be from the other person. Space gives you time, time allows for more mistakes to happen. This is why the corner is so dangerous. If your back is against the wall, you no longer have resources to commit to maintaining a neutral space. Your opponent now has full control of the space between the two of you, and your only way out is now to advance to try to get out of this situation. So, how do we start developing this feeling? I kinda want to equate this to sensors. You have to get comfortable with your character's ranges and your opponent's ranges as well in order to play neutral more effectively. So for example, if I stand right here, is there any buttons that can connect? For Ryu's case, I believe heavy Hashogeki should connect here. Medium and heavy donkey kick will connect here as well, but I am aware mentally that these are the buttons that will immediately connect. Even if I'm like standing here, forward fierce, like it's close, like it's hard to tell when you're in this range, but like here it's 100% yes, here it's like probably no. And then you also have to judge this accordingly based on your opponent. So if I'm here, can Bison hit me? The answer is absolutely yes. Unless you're in a mirror match, character archetypes play into spacing as well. Some will excel closer, while others excel farther away. So when it comes to training that sensor I'm talking about, if you've ever gone bowling, you know how there's the foul line where if you walk over too far in the lane. Think about the same concept but in Street Fighter. If someone trips your sensor, you should be able to acknowledge it, not necessarily swing. So I'm gonna have Bison wiggle back and forth. And I'm gonna use that same fundamental that I talked about earlier of like maintaining distance because I don't know how they want to attack, how they want to swing. So I'm just gonna kind of walk back and forward, and once I think Bison's in my range, I'll attempt to swing. And come on, Bison, come here. See, I whiffed a button there because I misjudged my spacing. I'm also not much of a Ryu player, so I apologize. But you see kind of the song and dance that I'm doing of like, I'm looking specifically for him to walk into my range. And that time I was successful. This is the drill you can kind of start with, of just walking back and forth and trying to hit people. And it's not necessarily something that's easy to practice. Spacing, I think, genuinely is one of the hardest things to do because it's a variable that is consistently changing over and over and over again. You have to constantly be aware if your opponent's gonna like go for random shenanigans. If you're playing like Cammy or Jury, dash up throw is very common with those characters. So people trying to throw off your spacing and your timing will be consistent. If you want to develop your sensor further, try setting obtainable goals that you can use during your matches, such as identifying if your opponent likes to walk too far forwards or backwards. You can also use this to your advantage in the case of on block as well. So moves also have pushback properties. As you can see, Bison does get like pushed back a lot. Notice how like I have 3 heavy punches connect in a row, but the 4th one will whiff. Depending on the move property or on who you're fighting against, this knowledge is also very important as well, because this is a part of spacing, because you are creating space physically with this button. So let's take an example of Bison trying to respond with a crouching medium punch, because let's just say my opponent isn't good at judging spaces fully. So if I hit this and they try to go for a swing, this is 100% going to miss every single time. He would have to use standing heavy punch, which is a lot slower to essentially reclaim the space. But the problem is, if he goes for this and I essentially use this spacing caused by the block, and obviously this is going to depend on where you are in the screen, I can set up what is called a spacing trap. Spacing traps basically say, if I hit a button that is generally minus and you choose the wrong button to address the range, stuff like this can happen. This is also another reason why the corner is so deadly. Okay, let's have M. Bison just hit heavy punches, like, just doesn't have a care in the world, just loves this button because this button is really, really good. The interesting thing about spacing also is, if you whiff a button, if you can judge the spacing correctly, you will get a lot more opportunities. But one thing you want to know is that whiffing buttons like this is generally really bad, because you're not really gaining a lot out of this, because you can't block, you can't uppercut, you can't do anything while you're doing this. So whiffing buttons randomly is just never in your best interest. Every time you hit a button, it should have a purpose behind it. It should be looking for something, and training your discipline to hit buttons less and calculate and look for the strike is a lot more important than just kind of like swinging for the fences. So what you can do to practice is you can go into recording here and essentially just make a bunch of like small recordings. I'll just have Bison like walk forward on slot 1, walk backwards on slot 2. Let's just have him like do on slot 3 walk forward and backwards a little bit. Slot 4 will be backwards then forwards for a little bit. And we'll have slot 5 be like, we'll have slot 5 just be standing heavy punch. So now that I have these 5 slots recorded, I can go into replay here on the other tab in recording settings, and then make sure everything is on. And then what I can do is just have it on always repeat playback. And you can even hide the little notification as well, so you don't know what slot it's on. But essentially now, Bison will kind of just do random stuff, and we'll just constantly replay through these options, and I don't know what he's gonna do. And so now you can kind of have like a little opponent that you're shimmying against and like just trying to whiff punish. See what I mean? Like, this is very like lifelike. Training this in practice mode, I think, is a really good way to practice your spacing, how to like naturally autopilot your walking. Make sure to always be aware of how you're walking though, because a good opponent will sniff out your patterns and start to hit you after for it. And with that concludes the video. I know this was different than the previous content I've put out, but I thought it was the best way for me to explain spacing. Let me know if you prefer this style of explanation versus the other videos. If you haven't already, I've covered other Street Fighter 6 fundamentals as a way to help people who are looking to level up their gameplay. Go check it out and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss another video. If you have any suggestions on a topic, let me know. Until next time, see you in the next video.